Okay, good evening. This is the East Lyme Board of Selectmen regular meeting, March 18th, 2026. It's 7 o'clock. We're in the East Lyme Town Hall upper meeting room. If we could rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So first thing is additional agenda and consent calendar items. I'd like to entertain a motion to move the appointment to fill selectman vacancy, which is 3A. I'd like to move that item above old business. So that's be the first thing after consent calendar that we do to accommodate people that are here.
All right, so moved.
Second.
All right, we have first and second. Any discussion on that? You all okay with it? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Does anyone abstain? All right, so motion carries. Next, there are no consent calendar items to be added in that I'm aware of. All right, so next is public delegations. This evening, because we're going to be discussing appointing to fill the selectman vacancy, I would encourage anyone that wants to comment on anything on the agenda to do that at delegations, and then later on when we get to that item of business, I will invite those that are interested in serving as on the Board of Selectmen then to address the Board of Selectmen. So anyone else who would like to address the Board of Selectmen and delegations? Yes, please. And if you just your name and address for the record, please.
Okay. Hi, Cindy Collins, 35 Laurel Street. Good evening, everyone. I'm here tonight to formally express my intent to rescind my resignation from the Board of Selectmen pending the outcome of a process I have set in motion. I want to be honest with the board. I have serious concerns about the way this situation was handled. My resignation was not something I offered freely. It came as a result of pressure that I do not believe was appropriate given these circumstances, and I do not feel the response was proportionate to what occurred. Because of those concerns, I have filed a formal complaint with the Connecticut Attorney General's office. I am in the early stages of that process, and I intend to fully cooperate with it and allow it to run its proper course. I am sharing this publicly and on the record because the residents of East Lyme deserve transparency and because I believe strongly that elected officials must be held to a fair and proper process, the same as anyone else. I appreciate the opportunity to address the board directly, and I look forward to resolution through the appropriate channels. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. All right. Yes. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. First Selectman, fellow members of the board. My name is Paul Formica from 11 South Lee Road. I'm here to speak to the vacancy that you're filling or considering filling this evening. And I'd like to highly recommend Don McKenzie to be not only highly considered, but to be your choice for the Board of Selectmen vacancy. Don has submitted a letter of interest, and certainly has a strong desire and a lot of experience to bring to this seat that you're looking to fill tonight. His relevant experiences started back with the Harbor Management Commission, where he kind of helped to reinvent the process there, taking it off really the expense item of the budget and working out a way to help with the moorings, and he was really working in a bipartisan manner to help move that 4 years that he served on that commission. He then went to the Board of Selectmen. He served 2 years with many, if not all of you there. So you all know his work ethic, you know his bipartisan solution-oriented philosophy that he had, and he looked not only as elected as a member of one party. When it was time to come to decisions, he put those parties aside and he worked for the best of the people of the town of East Lyme. As a 30-year business owner and a longtime resident of the community, he could be a strong conduit to the business and community, and also to his neighbors here. So I think he brings a lot of personal experience. Don is a fiscal conservative, and I'm sure you know, along with the rest of the country, the challenges that are being faced by states and municipalities due to the national environment. Don has 30 years' experience running a very successful business, and he knows the ins and outs of how to make good business practice and policies, and I think that would be a voice that might be helpful here on the Board of Selectmen. This extreme weather that we're having is probably not helping those budget things too, so I don't know if anybody can help that unless you have a strong shovel. Finally, I'd like to say that Don ran as a Republican, and you know he was not successful in the last election. I don't think that that was a result of a mandate on his personality or his ability. I think the municipal massacre that occurred around the state of Connecticut toward the Republican Party, I think, was an indication of a much higher conversation, and not necessarily that speaks to the people that are very good and very qualified here across the state on both parties. So Don is willing, I think he's able, and I hope you seriously consider to return him to the Board of Selectmen. Thank you very much for your
Thank you,
time.
Paul. Appreciate your
Thank
comment.
you.
Is there anyone else who would like, yes? Please.
Good evening, Ann Santoro, 11 Rose Lane, East Lyme. I'm here in support of Don McKenzie being appointed. Wish to give him my wholehearted support. I've known Don for the last 3 years, got to know him very well through 3 very intense election cycles, and very happy to have made his acquaintance and gotten to know him better. As you well know, you all have a very important decision to make concerning the vacancy, the apparent vacancy on the Board of Selectmen. It's not a common occurrence for you. This is an elected board, and you're put into a very unique position. So I empathize with that. Fortunately for you, you don't have to worry about party affiliation, per our charter and application of minority representation rules, state rules. I understand from looking at the town website that the applicants were to relate to you their relevant experience. Thanks, Paul Formica has gone through quite a bit of Don's experience, and I'm sure Don has given you quite a bit of data on himself. I would just like to say, as far as relevant experience goes, his experience with respect to the Board of Selectmen couldn't be more relevant, couldn't be more timely. He served this board in the last term from 2023 through December of 2025. So I think that that, coupled with his business experience, he was a business owner for many, many years. He's a Navy vet. He, has coached basketball for 25 years, and he was also an employee of Electric Boat. So I think that, coupled with his experience on the board, puts him in a very good position. And I know myself, had I been serving there now, I would have loved to have Don along my side. So I just wanted to point out one other thing. Don is often thanked for his business acumen when he's on boards, commissions, committees. And I would also like to point out something that I observed in the years I have known him now, which is very near and dear to my heart, that I think as a political official, as an appointee, as an elected person, he definitely cares very deeply about this town, and he relates to people so well. It's not a skill that all of us have, in the political arena, and I think that's very important. He well represents the people. He listens well. There's a good rapport that he establishes with residents. They feel free to talk to him, and he feels free to talk to them. I think that's an outstanding quality. So should you be in the continued position of having to fill this vacancy, I would highly support his being appointed. Thanks.
Thank you, Ann. Appreciate that. Any additional comments? Please.
Hi, Scott McAllister, 7 Darrows Court, East Lyme. I serve as co-chair of the DTC and also on the East Lyme Board of Finance. I'm here to speak on behalf of some excellent individuals from our Democratic Town Committee who have put their names forth for possible filling of this vacancy. I've had a chance to know all 4 of them to a limited extent in the few years that I've been here in town, and have been impressed with their commitment to East Lyme and their commitment to the improvement of our community in so many different ways. Each of them is of the 4 candidates that I think you've received information about has differences, and I think you guys will hear from them and talk about those differences. But I had an opportunity with a few others in our group to talk in more detail with each of the candidates over the weekend that you guys will consider, and I have to say you can't go wrong with any of them. They are all outstanding, and we wholeheartedly support them. I think importantly, the individual who resigned from the board was elected by the people of East Lyme, and she was a Democrat. And regardless of the national politics and many of our views about it, I have to say that was certainly the will of the people. That was an individual who was elected. And so my strong view is that you should replace that individual with somebody who is as similar as possible in terms of their ability to serve our community, as well as their view and philosophy. So thanks for your time considering it tonight.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Yes.
Wendy Sims, Green Valley Lakes Court. I speak to you as the registrar of voters, the Democratic registrar of voters in the town of East Lyme. So it is my job to amplify the voice of the people, to make sure that when the people come to vote, their voices are heard. That is my job. That is my duty. Just over 4 months ago, we had an election. The people spoke. It is our job as elected officials to listen to how the people spoke. They voted overwhelmingly. We can interpret trends or whatever way we want. It was only 4 months ago. People came in pretty record numbers, overwhelmingly. I have the data. They came across, it was something we hadn't seen before. It was overwhelming. It was decisive. The people spoke. They elected 4 Democrats and 2 Republicans to the Board of Selectmen 4 months ago. Nothing drastic has changed. A lot has changed. This year has been it's been 3 months of the year, but it feels like 27. But they spoke. It really wasn't that long ago. It's my job as the registrar of voters to make sure my constituents' voices are heard. And I work very hard to make sure everyone who comes into that polling place, who sends in an absentee ballot, their voices are heard. It's our job, our number one duty as elected officials, to center the people, to center the voters, to listen to their voices. That is our highest priority and our number one, that's it. That's what we are here for. Now, to take off my registrar hat and just speak as Wendy, I'm pretty sure I was either here or watching, because this is what I consider fun, reading statutes and attending these things. When I looked up and I saw the new board, I didn't see first and foremost a 4-2 Democrat board. I saw a 4-2 woman board. As an almost 46-year-old who has lived everywhere in this country, that was something that I was incredibly proud to see. I didn't care that 2 of the women ran on the R line. It didn't matter. I saw this was a woman-dominated board for the first time in almost 46 years. And I'm a Navy vet too. I don't know if that matters. But just thought I'd throw that out there. Apparently it does. But I've never been a part of a command that was woman-dominated. Never lived in a municipality. That was something that I saw, and that was something that mattered to me. Representation matters. Registrar again, the will of the people, what they said matters. Representation matters. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy.
Thank you, Wendy. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to address? Yes, please. Please note, name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Jill Salmons-Carini. I live at 10 Quarry Lane, and full disclosure, I'm on the Board of Ed. I've been on the Board of Ed probably 14, 15 years. I guess the first thing I'd like to say is, as we talk about Dawn replacing Cindy, to me it's almost like a bait and switch type of situation. She was elected as a Democrat, and now that there's a seat, and it sounds like there was some shady stuff going on. I don't know, and I don't really care at this point. But to me, the seat is a Democrat seat. And I've been active in politics for a long time in this town. It's very scary how long I've been involved. So what I'm saying is, it's a Democrat seat. It was voted Democrat. I realize Paul said, hey, you feel like it was a Republican massacre. What's going on right now on the national level? If you're looking at any of the primaries or how they're flipping seats from, you know that's true because you watch as much as I do.
Excuse me, Mr.
If you could address the board.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was saying is, if you watch national politics on TV, you notice that most of the seats are being red to blue. So it is a Democratic wave, okay? That's part of the reason she was elected. But she was also elected for her skill set or whatever people saw in her. So what I'm saying is, I don't know what happened before, but I think it's extremely unfair to all of a sudden sit a Republican in what I was hoping was a Democrat seat. And I agree with Wendy talking about, I love a good woman in a political position. As I watch and see who's in Congress, it's always been a man in a white shirt and a navy blue suit jacket. No offense, but I'm just saying that's what I've seen run my country since the 60s. So what I'm saying is, I think the seat should go to Cindy. It's her seat. She originally had it. She was elected into it. It wasn't like it was a willy-nilly decision. People made the effort, went to the poll, and pulled the lever for her name. I don't mean to get angry, but I do. I would feel the same way if I were in her seat. So again, the seat should remain in Cindy's hands as a Democrat. Thank you very much. Any other information you need to know about me? And I apologize for my appearance. I did not plan on speaking.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there anyone else? Yes.
John Lombardo, 2 Hillcrest Road. I'm also Vice Chair of the East Lyme Democratic Town Committee. I'd like to just 2 brief comments. One, I echo Scott's words. We have 4 excellent candidates on the Democratic side. Second, I just want to make note of a legal form that Connecticut General Statutes rules in this situation. It's not a town ordinance, and the Connecticut General Statute leaves it up to the Board of Selectmen. If the Board of Selectmen within 30 days does not fill the position, it then goes to the elected Democratic or whoever the party of the vacant select person to the party, they're elected officials in town. So the state does seem to want to give precedence to filling a slot on the Board of Selectmen of any town to the same party of which that selectman was on. So I just want to make note of that. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any other comments?
Hello, I'm Nick Menapace. I reside at 38 Hope Street. I'm not here in my role as state representative, but I just wanted to, I suppose, wish you all luck today. I know that you're kind of having to do a job that I don't know if anyone truly envies, because you are having to make a decision that will almost certainly result in somebody not being happy. And as far as I know, there are at least 5 candidates who put themselves forward. Obviously, 4 of them can't get it. I think you all are very committed. I think we all should be committed that we are committed to doing what's best for this town. I love seeing the backgrounds of educators up here, lawyers as well, for this. But the goal on this is, I just want to reiterate, is that I think it's really important to remember that different perspectives, I think, are often a really good thing to have on these. People who have backgrounds as nurses, teachers, anything like that, have the ability to serve as our state legislators, and they serve in our town. And that's multitude of experience, I think, is really beneficial to when we choose to govern and we make decisions. So I hope that you'll keep that in mind, and I do want to extend in my role in that I am always available if anybody needs anything. For anyone who will be the new person up here or anyone who's on there, please let me know if there's anything I can do to be of help. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to speak during the delegations portion? Going twice? Anyone else? Now's your chance. All right. We'll move on. And thank you, by the way, to everybody that made comments. They're much appreciated. Okay, we'll move on to approval of the minutes. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Move to approve the special meeting minutes of March 2nd, 2026 as submitted.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion, any changes? Notations? No. Being none, all in favor of the minutes of March 2nd, 2026, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Do I hear a motion for the March 4th minutes?
Move to approve the special meeting minutes of March 4th, 2026 as submitted. Second.
We have a second. Discussion, any changes or corrections to the minutes of March 4th?
Yes. So on page 1, under section 2, it says budget deliberations. Under the last, what is it? I guess,
Looking at March 4th, right?
yeah, March 4th. Under section 2, it says, Mr. Diebel is not clear on who will have access to the data and where it might be transferred to, and request, and then there's nothing else. So I don't know, Jason, do you know where I am?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
So if you look at the special meeting minutes of March 4th,
Yes.
under,
looking
it
at
says
regular.
section 2, budget
Yeah,
deliberations.
those two. Hold on.
I'm sorry, I was looking at regular meeting.
Okay, it's a special meeting
It's a
minutes.
special meeting. Okay.
So if you go down, there's, what do you call these, periods, there's like 4. And if you get to the 4th one, it says, Mr. Diebel is not clear on who will have access to the data and where it might be transferred to, and request, and then there's nothing. So I don't know what you were trying to say, or,
Well, I was speaking extemporaneously, so I don't have notes on that, but I can tell you that my requests have been that we have access to data for audits, that we know where it's going to, who's going to have access to it.
so would you just want to add a request?
I request as much transparency as can be granted under general state statutes.
Okay.
Okay.
We have that. Sandy, you have that one okay? Okay. All right, thank you. Any other changes or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Move to approve the regular meeting minutes of March 4th, 2026 as submitted.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second. Any corrections, any discussion on those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Move to approve the special meeting minutes of March 9th, 2026 as submitted.
Do I hear a motion?
Second.
All right, it's been seconded. Any discussion or corrections to the special meeting of March 9th minutes? No? All right, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Oh, any abstentions? Okay, very good. All right, we will turn to the consent calendar. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve the consent calendar for March 18th, 2026 in the amount of $6,322.39.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second. Looks pretty routine. All right. Any discussion? None? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, so we are at the point in the agenda tonight where we're looking to appoint someone to fill the Selectmen vacancy. And so let me just, I'm trying to be very careful with the procedure here so we get it right. And the way I envision it is at this time we'll invite those that are interested that have submitted a letter of interest.
May I ask a question? Quick?
Oh, sure.
Excuse me. So, given some of the information that came from Cindy Collins, I'm curious if we should even be continuing this conversation. So, I feel like we have time, and I had expressed to you that it seemed as though this was on a fast track to get this done and get it filled. And this has nothing to do with anyone that's put in their application. I need to be very clear about that, okay? I'm saying these things publicly. I am going to make a motion to table this for tonight for many reasons. It is very concerning to me. I talked about best practice, policy, doing the right thing continuously since I have been here. And I am incredibly concerned. I listen to some people come up. I value everyone, okay? I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I really don't. And I listened to someone say in favor of filling this seat democratically, but then the thought of it possibly being wrong, and the very person that ran in the last election, maybe she's being wronged at the moment. I don't know. I really don't. All I know is something is not adding up for me. The timeline, the questions, and now there is a complaint sitting on the state attorney's office. So I don't like to make mistakes, and if I do, I own them. But I feel like if we were to move forward to fill this seat in such a fast pace, and whether or not it goes to a Democrat or a Republican, and I got lots on that too if we get there, I feel like we would be participating and or perpetuating something wrong versus just simply doing the right thing by filling the seat. I have questions of whether or not this resignation was something that this person actually wanted to do or if she was talked into it. I have no idea. All I know is that I have considerable concerns. And there's no way that I'm going to participate in something fast. Nothing good comes of being fast and or impulsive in any way. And I would hate to move forward with something and in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks be looked upon as that we've done something wrong. Okay? And I'm not saying somebody did. I'm just saying that there seems to be something that's not adding up. I feel like we need more discussion on it. I know that I have a lot of questions on what has transpired. And that's all I have. So I did put a motion out on the table to table this for tonight. And then I believe we have another meeting within that time frame of, I believe.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay. And it's out there.
Do I hear a second? Hearing none. The motion fails, so we will move forward. Okay, then, at this time, as I had started to say, we will invite all of those that are interested in applying for the position to come forward and address the board. And then, at that time, I would encourage the board, if you have questions of that particular candidate, if we want to describe them as such, that would be the time to ask questions. And then we will move to open discussions amongst the board. And then I will ask for a motion to close those discussions. And then we will move on to select the appropriate person to serve on the board. So having said that, and also I will say that as part of the packet tonight, I did request an opinion of counsel of what the proper procedure is. And it was stated that there is no requirement that it be of one party or another, and that is true, and that's the opinion of counsel. And so with that, everyone on the board has a copy of that opinion and the state statute that is referenced by our town charter. So our town charter references the state statute, and we are doing our best to abide by the statute, and we have instructions from council on how to do it right. So having said all that, I will invite, how should we do it alphabetically or just whoever? I don't
Do it
know.
alphabetically,
Want to do it alphabetically?
and it's neutral.
Okay. That's beyond my pay grade, so let's see. Who would be first then? We have,
Atanasio,
yeah, Tony, all right,
double A.
okay.
My whole life I've gone first, so, used to it. Name's Anthony Atanasio. I live at 97 West Main Street, Unit 18, and I've been a resident of East Lyme for 27 years. I raised my son here in East Lyme, went through the school system, and did some mentoring myself because it took a lot to raise him. And he's now a member of the Board of Selectmen in Waterford. So he has that going for him, and I hope to follow in his footsteps. I've known everyone on this board for many years, and the reason I'm applying for this is I want this town to succeed, and I want you all to succeed. And I think I'd work well with every one of you, regardless of what party's after your name. And that's just my opinion. I don't know if you share it, but that's my big motivation for doing this. I understand the time commitment and the, shall we say, aggravation, or however you want to put it, because almost 30 years ago, I served on a town council when I lived in the town of Ledyard. And the funny thing is, I just realized this the other day. They gave me a bunch of business cards when I was on their town council. It's been almost 30 years, and this thing has sat in my top drawer of my desk for 30 years. It's telling me something, so here I am. Just when I look at the board, and I said, I consider you all friends to one extent or another, but I do see something I can add. I notice we have a couple of teachers, a couple of lawyers, And I have nothing against teachers and lawyers. My father was a teacher, and I have a twin brother who's a lawyer in California. And so that's not the problem. But I am an engineer, and I think a little bit differently maybe, and I think I can add something there. I'm an electric board. I've been there almost 40 years. I work in software development and do quality assurance. I have a top secret security clearance, so I've gone over that hurdle, and that's why I won't say much about my job. But I think I can complement what we already have on our board. I have a regional approach to things, both economies of scale, and like I said, with my son in Waterford, if any issues come up which affect both towns, like let's say, I don't know, maybe a data center or something, I'm up to speed on all that stuff. Let's see. I'm currently chairman of Historic Properties. I've served 2 terms on the Board of Assessment Appeals. They were non-consecutive. I was on not the last Charter Revision Commission, but the one before that. Served on the Board of Trustees of the Public Library, and way back, even before I was on Ledyard Town Council, I served on the Board of Directors of the Southeast Connecticut Regional Planning Agency, which probably no one knows what that is, but we voted ourselves out of existence in favor of a Council of Governments. So that was the predecessor to the Council of Governments. I know there's a lot of challenges around. I've run for this position. I first ran in 2007, almost 20 years ago. It was the election when, I see Paul still here. That was the election when Paul first got elected, first selectman, and it was brutal. You talk about massacres, so like that one was brutal. But I lost by 48 votes, and I did subsequently run one more time, but didn't make it that time either. So I'm trying one more time. I know there's a lot of challenges because, like I said, I followed things for many years, both as a candidate and as an active person. I stayed active in politics and at the state level and at the local level. In fact, I'm very proud of the fact that I was chosen by my state party and by the Biden campaign to be a member of the Electoral College in 2020. And we did win that. I mention that because we did win that election, regardless of what the current president says. But I hope you'll consider me for this position. I think I have the requisite background and experience, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tony. I think Mike Beckett, right, would be next?
Yep.
Good evening, Board of Selectmen, staff, and of course the audience. My name is Michael Beckich. I live at 84 Hope Street in Niantic. I am in my 50th year of residency in the town, came here in 1976. At that particular time, I took a job in the town of Groton. Looked at all the area towns, kind of fell in love with the town, and haven't left since. As Tony says, yes, I have a daughter that completed her education in the town of East Lyme. I have 6 of my 8 grandkids have been in the school system here, 2 of which are still in the school system here. So, again, I've been a long-term participant in government. I've been very, I've submitted my forms to you, and I listed the items there. The reason I'm looking to go on the board is that I have 53 years of experience in municipal government. And I note that is the difference between municipal and state government. I've dealt with a lot of things. I was in Groton, I was in Waterford, I also was in Manchester. And since my retirement, I've been working in smaller towns, helping them through issues that are out there. So I've been not only a management employee, I've been a regular staff employee, president of the unions, and I've been a monitor or for a lot of different projects for smaller towns. A couple of the other things I'd like to note is there's a lot of things that I bring to the table, other than the fact that I was a tax assessor for all this time, is that, for example, I served a number of years, couple of years, as a director of finance in the town of Manchester, Connecticut, which is a population of about 52,000, so it's a larger community. Had everything in there, including their self-insured, pension board, etc. So I've had depth on that. I was the chairman of the pension board in the town of Groton. Unfortunately, I was there the day that what they call Black Monday, when the market went, if you remember back in '87, and we did very well and came out of that with a good fund and a good fund balance. It was trying times. It was talk about learning by fire. That certainly was one of them. One of the other things that kind of unique experiences that I've had is that as part of the area, of course, we have Millstone, we have the sub-base, the EOCs, or the Emergency Operations Centers. There was a requirement in Groton at the time that I spend more than a week in one of the federal facilities to learn about issues related to mishaps that could occur in the nuclear world, or any world for that matter, for the sub-base, and of course for Millstone. And then of course, moving back to my 20 years in Waterford, I served on the committees that dealt with the EOC and annual events on that. So again, we could see Millstone from where we are. I know that we participate in those programs. I have participated in them in the past, so it's not new to me. So I'm used to seeing this type of item. I hope that I gave you a list that gives you a good idea of what I've done. I will also want to let you know that I'm currently serving on 3 different commissions for the town, one being the Board of Assessment Appeals, where I probably served on long enough that if I could get a pension, I would get a pension from that. It's been more than 20, pretty close to 25 years, if not more. I am also the chairman of the Commission on Aging, and I am a alternate on the Fair Rent Housing Commission, but because of the situation that occurred, and we had the regular member had to recuse themselves because they lived in the complex, I've been seated at every meeting they've had for that commission, and proud of the service to that. So what I bring to you is a number of years of work history, all in the municipal sector. I feel that that allows me to be productive almost from day one, moving on to the board. Obviously, the town has its own issues, and I try to keep up with those, and certainly watching the local channel if I'm not here or involved with day-to-day readings. So I keep myself very much up with that, and I think that I would be a good candidate to fill the position. I thank you for your time, and I thank the East Lyme Democratic Town Committee for considering me as part of that process also. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. The next then would be Carrie Edwards.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carrie Edwards, and I live at 3 Joyce Court in Niantic. And I'd like you to consider me for the possibly open position. I'm a lifelong resident of East Lyme. In fact, I'm a product of East Lyme Public Schools. Mrs. Hardy was my teacher in middle school. And I have a son who also has gone through the East Lyme Public School system. I have a very strong connection to our community. I have I have, over the years, been involved in many different ways in our lovely town, and I have worked at Dad's Restaurant. I have been a lifeguard at our local beaches. I've played youth sports in our town. I have supported youth sports through my son. And now I'm serving as a member of our church community, and I'm on the parish council. I also currently serve as an alternate on the East Lyme Zoning Committee and Commission, and I was just elected to do so. So I guess you could say out of the candidates, I'm the freshman of the bunch. Being on the Zoning Commission has really given me valuable insight the way that our town works, and also given me valuable insight into local planning and development issues. Professionally, I've spent 25 years as an elementary educator in Waterford. For the past 8 years, in addition to being an educator, I've also served as our teacher assistant principal. Those experiences really have strengthened my communication skills and collaboration and listening skills, which I think is very important to be seated on the Board of Selectmen with you all. I'm interested in serving because I care so deeply about our town, its people, and its tradition that make this such a special place. I hold many traditions in our town close to my heart, and I would welcome the opportunity to contribute and help and support in the future. I have many key priorities that I can see for our town. Those include responsible budgeting. I have listened to your budget meetings, and I have some ideas I think that I could bring to the table with you in collaboration with some of the ideas that you've already shared. I really want to maintain a high quality of life for our residents. I support our schools very strongly, and I support our community services that we already have in place. I also think it's important to approach development thoughtfully and safely, in a way that really preserves the character of our town while supporting long-term sustainability for our town. Protecting our shoreline and our natural resources also is another very important thing that I hold dear to our community. I think it's about balancing priorities in a way that supports both current and future needs of our great town of East Lyme. I believe I bring a strong combination of community connection and collaboration and leadership. As a lifelong East Lyme resident, I have a deep understanding of the town and the people who live here. Through my work in education and through my experience on the Zoning Commission, I have the ability to listen, I have the ability to work really well with others, and to make thoughtful decisions. I would work collaboratively with the current board members to support decisions that serve the best interest of our community. I believe in data-based decision-making. I believe that part of being on the commission is that we need to listen carefully to what our residents need, and then we need to act upon their needs. I thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Okay. Next would be Don McKenzie.
Hi all. I'm Don McKenzie, 10 Woodland Drive, Niantic. First, I wish Ms. Collins all the best in pursuing. I admire that. If she feels she's been wrong, go get it. Okay? She was elected, and so by all means, if we proceed this way, we'll see what takes place after. I'm okay with that too. I'm used to dealing with it. I had the fortunate ability to, as far as being experienced, dealing with the Harbor Management Committee. I made a significant change there, worked hard at that, and within my first term, I was asked to be chairman of the commission. I was straight up with them and told them that I've been asked to join the Board of Selectmen. So they saw something there that maybe they saw some leadership and the math and getting us off the budget list and raising the money ourselves within the organization. I came here as a business owner, and I'm going to share a couple things that maybe you haven't heard before. I became the chairman of the Connecticut Marine Trades Association, which represents 15,000 workers in the marine industry in the state of Connecticut. We were hit with attacks from Rhode Island when they went to 0% sales tax on boat sales. Our sales plummeted. We have 35 workers at our place when I owned it, at our place. I went to the legislature along with a couple other people, key people, and we pushed to get to 0% sales tax so we could compete with a neighboring state. To be competitive is all the customers want. And we did that with the help of our legislators in place, Paul and Holly. And we got them to the point where they agreed to 2.99. And Senator Fonfara from Hartford Wethersfield said, why wouldn't I give all the car dealers that? And I said, because, during testimony, because no other car dealer in another state has gone to 0% on car sales tax. Otherwise, they'd be in front of us as far as the line. Lo and behold, we got to 2.99. I was asked the question, how much do you think that will increase sales by going to 2.99? I said, my numbers say we're going to at least double it, maybe a little bit more. Quadrupled sales. Now, that goes from, this town needs tax money, tax base. That goes from 0%, no sales, because they're going to shop, go to Rhode Island. We had many local people open LLCs and stuff in Rhode Island to buy the boat over there so they could avoid the sales tax and put fake registrations on there. So anyway, we got to 2.99. We collect the sales tax on 2.99. We collect the sales tax on slips. We collect the sales tax on winter storage. We keep the employees. All the other, the boat and tackle, I guess you can blame me for all the liquor stores and the pizza stores. But a lot of economics take place because we kept moving fiberglass. That's a very big thing. The second, when it came time for me to sell the business, when I started running out of gas and needed to change, I sold the business to an individual that was pretty significantly less than a major corporation that was going to buy it. I didn't like the corporation. They were more focused on the bottom line than the top line being the customer's name. I'm more focused on this town. And I brought Scott Leahy to this town. We met him, we fell in love with him the first day. Since he's been in town, the guy that we sold the business to, he's remodeled Boat Inc. He's bought Dad's, okay, and remodeled that. He built his house here on the river, okay, and now he just purchased Port Niantic. I was speaking to Dan the other day that he is now scaring $20 million on the grand list. And he's a class act. He's a first-class guy, and he's part of this town. That's what I want to try to bring. And it's not for the rich boater. It's for the people who are working. Okay, everybody said that you're doing it for, no, I'm not. I'm doing it for keeping 15,000 people employed in the industry that we have a coastline. So that's what I bring, and that's why I loved working. I like the team. I enjoyed working with them, and I was disheartened that I lost. I'm getting used to losing now. So, but I'm not happy with it. As a coach, I've coached for 25 years. I've never taken a paycheck. It's not about that. It's about these kids that I'm bringing up and teaching my business lessons to. I tell all my kids two things. Life's about relationships. Don't ever doubt that. And number two, I set obtainable goals. We got obtainable goals here. We can achieve. I'd love to be a help to you all and be a part of that. If not, I understand. As you know, I'll still help you on the sidelines. I've proven that already since the election. So, all right. Good luck to you on this decision. Thanks.
Thank you.
you, Don.
Appreciate it. And next is Kathy Uhas.
Hi, Kathy Uhas, 12 Lake Avenue Extension here in Niantic. Good evening and thank you for the opportunity to speak. As you know from the bio I shared, my roots run deep. You've also seen the professional experience that shares why I believe I'm a strong candidate for this position. Instead of repeating that, I want you to know that I understand the role of the Board of Selectmen is not only local but goes beyond our town. It involves collaboration with state officials, regional partners on issues such as grants, emergency coordination, regional concerns, and compliance with state laws and regulations. I believe that East Lyme faces the same challenges that many towns do, balancing the preservation of what makes the town unique with the need of future planning that includes responsible budgeting, infrastructure, development, careful planning, and making thoughtful decisions about quality of life here. If chosen, what I would bring to this role is preparation, seriousness, and follow-through that I already demonstrate in my position with the Zoning Commission. I believe in doing the homework, reading materials carefully, understanding the facts, and coming to the table ready to ask good questions and making informed decisions. I would approach these responsibilities thoughtfully and collaboratively, always focusing on what's best for East Lyme. To me, that's important not only for making good decisions, but for maintaining public trust. People should feel confident that their leaders are prepared, acting responsibly, and making decisions with integrity and fairness. On that note, I appreciated the strong support that I received in the last election, and I see it as a meaningful sign of trust from the community. I don't take that lightly. In fact, it reinforces my sense of responsibility and to serve in a way that's thoughtful, transparent, and deserving of that confidence. Because I care about East Lyme, I would be honored to serve in this role with a sincere commitment to doing what's best for the town. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, let's see, I think that's everyone, am I right? Okay. All right. Are there any members of the board that would like to ask questions of the potential appointees for the board? No?
I don't.
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. All right. So we'll close up. Can I have a motion to close part of the meeting where the potential candidates are presenting?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Let's have a second. All right, discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Presented opposed?
I oppose,
Okay. All right. So now,
I'll like to make a motion.
yeah.
So I'll move to enter into discussion of the applicants for the Board of Selectmen vacancy.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll be
Yeah.
opposing all night.
Okay. All right, so do we want to start our discussion?
I'd just like to kind of say, do we have ground rules that we could agree on before we begin, or how we're going to frame this discussion? Do we go down the line? Or how do you envision this happening?
I guess we could start at one end or the other, or if someone really feels they want to get out in front and discuss how they feel about the process or a particular candidate, I think now would be the time to do it. So we can start, Roseanne, I'll start with you.
At this point, are we putting forward a name of a
No.
person?
I think we'll do that in a moment. This is an opportunity for a general discussion if the board wants to have that. If not, that's fine too.
Well, we've heard a presentation from all of the potential candidates, and we've had an opportunity to question. I'm ready to move forward.
Okay. Jason, any comments?
Yeah, I think we've found ourselves kind of an unprecedented territory, and I think when you do that, to Candace's point earlier, it's kind of hard to find a best practice or a procedure for kind of a externality. So I find myself wanting to fall back onto a couple things. One is, what does the statute say? And I mean, you've outlined that here in this document pretty clearly, that we have 30 days from March 6th.
That's right.
So there is a kind of a ticking clock, and if we don't do anything, then it goes to the town committees.
The DTC.
Okay.
We would have some time if we put it off to the next meeting to have some more conversation.
Right. My question is, though, does it go to just the DTC, or is it RTC also involved?
Where did this come from?
Well, it's in the packet.
The statute.
Oh, okay, the second part of
So, yeah, just so we're clear, why don't we just revisit the procedure? That's important.
I think that it's very important, and I fully understand. And in fact, when you had called me to tell me that we had received a resignation, the first thing out of my mouth was, not the details of it, was what is the procedure moving forward? Because quite often here, unfortunately, there isn't best practice. And it's not good to have that. You need a strong structure. So my concern was that. And there is a state statute that absolutely should be, adhered to. My concern is doing the right thing. So is it even the right thing to be filling this seat? How did we get here? There's a lot of questions to that for this resignation, and if it was voluntary or not. And the truth of the matter is, I have questions finding out that it's sitting at the Attorney General's office as a complaint against our first selectman. So, yes, I would like to take a pause, because I think that that's smart. It's smart, okay? Versus rapidly moving into something to fill a seat that very well may not or should be vacant. And once it's filled, that causes more of a challenge from just my little Google search in my very unpolitical mind. And as I look out to my audience, there's a lot of politics going on in here. There really is. And anybody that knows me, I've been in this for, my kids are 19 and 20. So yeah, around 16, 17 years. I've never ruled that way, and I'm not gonna start now. What's right at the end of the day is what's right. So I have a lot of things right now that are just saying we need a pause. All right. Every single person that has stood up that wants to be in this seat, listening to you, you all would be great to be serving for our community, each and every one of you. It isn't about you. It isn't about, but let me pose this question for you to just think about, because you can't answer me, but think about it. What if it were you? What if it were you? What if it were any of you? Okay? Because you're setting precedents here of whether or not it was voluntary or not. Was it encouraged? Was it forced? I don't know. But there's a lot of questions. And what if it were you? Would you like how this would be going right now? Or would you want it to be fair? Would you want it to be transparent? I know that I would. So that's what I'm asking for. I'm asking for some more dialogue, some questions to be answered that I think is fair, and not rushing something. And I do think that it is rushed. And if you have the time, which we do per the state statute, we could do that. And I think that that's fair. That's all.
So I was referring to, I think process is definitely a priority. I also kind of to speak to what Candace is saying, that there is a vacuum, and how do we fill that vacuum? It needs to be filled at some point. I feel like it's clearly outlined, it's before us. We can take action if we wish, and it seems that this board has an appetite to take action. As a legal matter, there is some, I mean, this is outside of my pay grade, but there is some question as to what could happen if some kind of complaint, some kind of legal action led to a decision on one person's side versus another. What would happen to our decision here tonight? And I think any lawyer would probably say that you do what you can now and let the courts sort it out. These are really big questions that are to be sorted out by people who do this for their career. So I'm in favor of going forward with this opportunity we have to fill this vacancy. And I find the argument pretty compelling about the will of the voters, and that we as elected officials are supposed to work on behalf of our electorate. And I feel like this is a moment where the voters spoke pretty clearly, and that we should honor that. So I'm willing to work through this now to fill that vacuum, to express the will of the voters as best as I interpret it. So I'm ready to have the discussion too.
Okay. I will say, Candace, this was the first I heard tonight that there was a complaint filed. I didn't know that either. Did anyone else know that? No?
I mean, it's concerning, right?
Yeah, but
And
I hadn't,
just-
and I didn't know it was against me. You seem to know. I didn't She didn't say that. Is that, do you happen to know if it was against the board or against me
I
personally?
don't know. I have no idea.
Okay, well, that's,
What
I mean,
she-
you said against me. I didn't know if.
Oh, well, I'm just stating what she had said. I thought that's
Oh, I
what she
didn't,
said.
okay, all right, I thought, yeah, I didn't know, but either way, okay, so let me just, probably would be worthwhile for me just to briefly outline the state statute procedure as explained to me by counsel. And maybe I'll start here. Connecticut General Statute provides that any person appointed to fill a selectman vacancy shall serve for the portion of the term remaining unexpired or until a special election is called. And I'll jump down. The remaining members of the board have until April 6th, 2026 to appoint a qualified person to serve for the unexpired portion of Cindy Collins' term, or until a special election is called upon petition as provided above. So there is language that if someone in the town feels aggrieved by our decision, there's a process to call for a special election. So that's in the statute.
Okay, so what does that actually look like? So a special election, our town would actually vote again? Because I'd be all board.
No, according to this here.
There would. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, you want you to do it.
So there's language here, it's in your packet. It says when a vacancy occurs in the office of the first selectman or office of the selectman, it shall be filled 30 days after blah, blah, blah. It goes down to if such a vacancy in the office of the first selectman or selectman is not so filled within 30 days after the day of its occurrence, the town clerk shall, within 10 days thereafter, notify the elective town officers enrolled in the same political party as the first selectman or selectman, as the case may be, who vacated office. So my interpretation of that is it would go to the DTC. It's assigned to DTC.
So if we didn't act by April 6th, it would default, authority would default to the DTC. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's today? Today's the 18th.
Yeah, and we have one more meeting before the 6th.
April 1st. So I guess what I know for facts is that Cindy Collins resigned. After she resigned, we put up something on the East Lyme website
Right.
and notified the town. I spoke to the chair of the RTC and both the DTC to notify them that there was going to be a vacancy. Fast forward to tonight, Ms. Collins stood up and said that she did not resign freely. I don't quite understand what that means because, you know, as far as I know, there was something written and she resigned. However, given that there is a formal complaint at this point, it is something that we cannot now, I would assume, discuss, because once something's in litigation or on the pretense of litigation, then it should not be discussed. So even if you want to discuss it, we really can't discuss it. Also, as you know, as the first selectman just said, you know, this is the first that he heard of it. It's the first that I've heard of this, and I'm not sure how that works. So, having said that, given the fact that there was a resignation that was put forward, I think that we should go forward. I think also that town council, you know, will be notified of this complaint with the Attorney General's office, and that will be dealt with in, you know, in time. But I don't think it impacts this right here today. I don't know what the complaint says, but if, being a lawyer, anything in courts is long and protracted. There is nothing ever short, okay? So if we were to wait for something to be resolved, we could be waiting years, literally years, for this kind of thing to be resolved. So that's why I am in favor of moving forward. I feel kind of blindsided and ambushed by Ms. Collins tonight, I'll be honest with you. So I understand what you're saying, because I likewise was blindsided, but having kind of gone through the facts in my head, I feel that we should go forward. So that's where I stand on it, and I think that, town council will get involved with the formal complaint. I'm just looking at, the facts and what I know, and that's about it.
Let me just inquire, thank you.
You know,
Sandy?
I completely understand. I'm concerned with, I guess, if there's something that has happened that I don't know about and that we don't know about or some know about, and I don't want to move forward if there is questions of that or not, and then filling something. So, and people had talked about it, it's right after the election, is this something that was planned, not planned? At times throughout the years, political positioning, I don't know. I would hope not, I don't know. But something just isn't adding up. Okay. And I feel like if I sit here and pretend like, oh, don't know that, or oh, she didn't just stand up there and say that she's rescinding her resignation. Right?
She didn't state that she was rescinding it.
I could have
What she
sworn
said,
she said
no,
that.
no, I wrote it down specifically. She
wrote
said,
it
my
down.
resignation was not offered freely. That is specifically what
Please
she
help.
said.
I thought I heard
I
her
was
say-
under pressure, given the circumstances.
What did
And
you-
I'm filing a complaint with the Connecticut Attorney General's office.
Right. So
And I'm
just
sharing this
listening to that is
publicly
concerning.
on the record for the first time. And I'm looking for a fair and proper process.
I think I heard that she was going to rescind. That she rescinded it. But let me ask you this, Sandy.
Can she rescind it?
Well, that's the question, and I don't have the answer to that. I don't have the benefit of counsel. Let me ask you this, Sandy. This afternoon.
I did not hear that. Excuse
yeah.
me for that.
Yeah. Did the town clerk contact my office and say that we were served with process, or that there was any language, anything enjoining any activity tonight? So we're not prevented. We're not okay. So you didn't receive anything from Karen Dahl? Not by closing. Okay. So as far as we know, we're not enjoined from proceeding, and we haven't been served by any process from the Attorney General's office. So if that's true, then I don't know if a verbal rescission, I don't know what the law is on that, and I'm not going to, not the town lawyer, so I think we would be on good ground if we were to continue with the process tonight, but if anyone else wants to renew a motion to put this off till the next meeting, I would entertain that motion.
Okay, so I just want to ask a question, because I did not hear her say that.
Yeah.
I wrote down what I heard, but I missed that first sentence. So she actually stated
She rescinds her.
that she rescinds the
Yeah,
resignation.
I heard that too.
So, having learned that, my take on that is, I don't know legally if that can be done.
I don't either.
And so I feel like if it is something that can be done legally, then I don't know how we can go forward. I'm saying I wanted to go forward. I had planned to go forward tonight. I've been thinking about this for,
Okay.
many days, but I don't know.
So let's put, I'm sorry.
Sorry, unless, you can take a 5-minute break and, contact the attorney and ask if that's something that can be done. I don't know. I
Well,
don't
as someone
have
who
the
doesn't exist
knowledge.
in legal world,
Yeah.
my understanding is that according to this, we have 30 days to do it. If we don't do it, after that, the DTC gets it. And if they don't do it,
Yeah.
the courts take, what'd you say, years to sort this matter out?
So if this involves litigation, which it may, and, we haven't been put on notice yet, as far as I know, other than what was said here tonight. I don't know if, what the rules for rescission are, and I think probably a wise course might be, since we do have somewhat the luxury of time, and I think now that it's clear, I did hear that she said verbally that she rescinds her resignation.
She said that.
And does everyone agree that that's what they heard?
That's what I
I
heard.
did hear it.
You heard that?
Yeah, I didn't hear it, but
Okay.
if you all
But-
say it,
Okay.
then that's, and Sandy said she heard it. Yeah, I couldn't.
It's the same
I
thing.
didn't hear it. It was must have been the first sentence.
Okay, so let's just, so we'll accept that. I think in light of that, I think Candace's position is well taken, that we do have the luxury of time, and it certainly wouldn't hurt us to get a proper opinion of council, give them the time to interpret the circumstance that we face tonight, get the benefit of that, and then 2 weeks from now, we still have time under the statute to act. We can reevaluate if that is the proper thing to do. So with that, if Candace, if you want to renew your motion, then we'll see if we get a second.
Okay. Making a motion to table 3A, new business, until our April, what?
April 1st.
April
April
1st
1st.
meeting.
Perfect day. Okay.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All right. We have a motion on the table. It's been seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed?
All right.
Should we
So
do it pass?
it's 3 to, yeah, pass, right?
Got it.
Yep. Okay. So 2 weeks from now, this will be on the agenda again, and we'll go from there. So I thank everybody that attended here tonight.
Thank you.
Appreciate your interest, but we're trying to do things right. We're trying to follow a process and do it the right way. And at this point, I really need the benefit of council. That's what we'll do. All right, then we will now go to the what was an old business, authorize first selectman to sign the photo enforcement services agreement. And the chief of police is here? Yes, okay. So, I thought it would be well to begin discussion, and this is on the contract.
Yep.
Are there any concerns with this contract?
I have a lot of questions.
Good.
Issues.
Me too.
All right. I went through this kind of with a fine-tooth comb. All right. So I'll just start from page 1 of 18. So it says that under section 2, detection and recording of potential traffic violations, it says Altumit will make available to client certain biocam systems which work in conjunction with using a radar or LiDAR, and to capture a photograph or video of the rear of a motor vehicle that exceeds the speed limit enforced at the time of the violation. So my question on that is, do we set the limit? Like, how many miles over the speed limit? Like, I was under the impression when Chief Glenn spoke that it was going to be, if the speed limit was 25, they were going to start ticketing people at, 35 or 36 or something like that. So I just think that that's unclear.
I would invite Chief
So-
Glenn to the podium, and if he has an understanding of that. I had a certain impression on how that worked, but
I do, thank you. So the state statute outlines that 10 miles per hour or more can be ticketed. However, we have the discretion to establish whether we set it at 10, 11, 12, or higher.
So then I would want something saying in the contract, exceeds the speed limit enforced at the time of the violation as, as directed by the town or something. Because the way it's written, it's really not clear, I don't know who's in charge of the contract, but that's unclear.
well, let's go through and take notes, and then we can seek clarification on. So let's identify issues tonight that we need clarification on.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at 2A,
Yeah.
and you're concerned who.
Well, it just says exceeds the speed limit enforced at the time of the violation.
Right.
And so,
Where does it allow us to regulate that?
yeah,
So that would be by state statute. I don't think we should get into the weeds in the contract. This is the agreement, the legal agreement between us and the vendor themselves. So we determine whether it's 10, 12, we could change it at any time at our discretion.
no, I understand that, but then you got to put in the contract. Like, that's not something that we can just say, oh, it's by state statute, unless you want to say pursuant to state statute. I'm happy to do that, but there has to be something there to clarify. You know what I mean? Like, because you go to court on this, they're gonna look at the contract. That's how it works. You can't just say, oh, it's pursuant to that without putting it in here.
So I think that's what we have
You know
to
what I mean?
research. So I think if we can identify these issues,
Yeah.
then I can get the
exactly.
opinion of council, and we can revisit it and make sure maybe it is somewhere else in the contract. So I think if we can identify issues tonight, that would be worthwhile.
Okay, so,
So it's going to be 2A is where your
Yep.
concern is. Okay, yep.
all right, let me just see. All right. Okay, so, under page 4, warning signs, M, warning signs,
Yes.
kind of like near the bottom. It says, second, I guess, the paragraph, prior to operation of an automatic traffic enforcement safety device, Altument shall install 2 conspicuous warning signs per system location, approach at a reasonable distance in advance of such location. So what I was going to say is what we also need, and I don't know if you put it in here or whether it's a town that does it, you need speed limit signs. I'm coming off of the highway now, and it says, there's a sign there, it says like photo enforced, speed limit. My husband and I are there, we're like, what's the speed limit? We literally could not find the speed limit. So I'm like, well, it's enforced. He's like, well, how fast am I supposed to be going? And I said, I don't have a clue. So we really, if you're gonna put these signs up, we actually need speed limit signs to be right there next to, the camera or the sign saying, hey, we're gonna have a camera here.
So you're going to have a camera warning sign, but you also,
You need
it's
the
important to
speed
know what
limit.
the speed limit is that you're being, okay.
May I just ask a question?
Yeah.
So we do have the contract, but wouldn't this kind of come in for an ordinance that we would kind of?
We did the
pair up?
ordinance.
Right, but kind of like some of the details that she's trying to put in, I mean, wouldn't that kind of go into the ordinance and not this? I'm not too sure. I'm just putting it out there.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, we passed the ordinance allowing us to enter into the contract, so I think the details probably will reside in the contract, because there are speed limit ordinances, right?
Right.
So this is, what's the threshold, given that we have an ordinance that says you can go a certain speed in a certain area.
Yep.
This is the document that's going to govern what is that threshold going to be, and what is our ability to regulate that. So I think that should reside in the contract.
All right.
So Ultimate doesn't have the authority to put speed limit signs anywhere. The Board of
Right.
Police Commissioners do. So I could bring that request to the Board
Yeah,
of Police
I mean, I
Commissioners
just don't
outside
think-
of this
Yeah,
contract.
I just don't think it would be fair to any driver to say, oh, I got a ticket, but I don't even know what the speed limit was.
Sure, it's a
You know,
great
I mean,
point.
it's
Yep.
just, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm just going through it.
No.
Oh, I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention on that, on section 10, the
What
initial.
page?
Oh, sorry, page 8. It's not really changing, I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention that there is an initial term of 5 years. However, you can terminate the agreement after 1 year, with sufficient notice. So I just wanted to kind of make sure people were aware of that.
Do you want to just keep going through the pages, or, because I have something at 7 I'd want to discuss, but we can go through your
Yeah.
thoughts, then we'll go,
Okay.
then I'll back up, okay.
Okay, so on page 12, under section 17, it's governing law and venue. So it says here, venue shall be in the state court in the judicial district of Ansonia, Fairfield. So I think it was an error. I think Altumet was, I think they do this for Fairfield, so it really should say judicial district of New London.
New London,
Yeah.
New London County, right?
Yeah, New London. So that's basically, I think it's a typo.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was anything
Yep.
big with that.
But I'm glad you caught
So then page 13,
13.
retention of records by Altument. under 19,
Yep.
it says, and this is where it's more of a question for the chief. So it says, any recorded video or photograph obtained through the use of Videocam must be destroyed within 90 days after the final disposition of the recorded event. But, correct me if I'm wrong, I remember either you saying or I was reading that they would keep it for a certain length of time after in case there was a second offense, because then they would then, I guess, give a different type of ticket or something like that.
Sure. So I clarified that yesterday with the company.
Oh, you did?
The only thing
Okay.
they'll retain for up to 1 year will be the actual license plate itself. So the photo and any information that comes with the Department of Motor Vehicle inquiry will be purged.
Okay.
However, the
All right.
actual license plate, so that the second offense can be larger fine.
Okay, so then they can change that language.
Well, wait a minute, could you go over that again? So,
19, yeah, if you look at 19A and B,
yes. Yeah, I have it here and I have it marked, but what's the distinction?
Sure. So a violation will come with a photograph of the license plate in the vehicle, the information about the speed, the location, the date, and the time, and the information that comes back from the Department of Motor Vehicle, basically the owner of the vehicle. All of that information will be purged after 90 days, according to this contract. However, the license plate itself will be retained, so if the same vehicle is found in excessive speed, again, within a year, that second offense will be a more significant fine.
so they keep the license plate number, but they don't keep all of the data associated with it, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so if that plate comes up twice, then they know it's the second time that person's been picked up, and it would be the next level fine.
That's correct.
But suppose that the person was picked up not only for speeding, but perhaps for use of liquor?
It's not the
No,
person,
no,
it's just
it's
the vehicle.
So there's no indication of that, it's just simply vehicle check and speed?
Because you don't know who's
This
driving.
program
it.
is, yeah, just speed.
Yeah,
Just the ownership, record ownership.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay.
so then, I guess in that, then, it says any recorded video or photograph. So the photograph would be of the license plate? Is
Correct.
that what we're saying? Okay. So then, that needs to, I guess, be modified, just so it makes sense.
What would you like it to read?
However, let's see. So what's going to be, I guess, maybe what's exactly going to be destroyed within like 90 days? And what are they going to retain? I guess that's what.
Everything except the license plate. So the photo, video, the owner's information, the date, the time, the speed.
Oh, sorry, you're talking way too fast.
So everything gets destroyed.
Everything, I know, but I was just trying to, you said photos, sorry, could you repeat that?
Sure, photos, videos, this might not be an inclusive list, this is just off the top of my head, but photos, videos, information regarding the date, the time, the location, the speed, the owner's information of the vehicle.
But if this is a second occurrence, isn't that important information still?
Yes, ma'am, that's why the license plate itself is retained. For
So
that
maybe
purpose.
we could say something to the effect of, like, all information
With the
is
exception of-
destroyed with the exception of the license number within 90 days after the final disposition of the recorded event. Does that sound accurate?
It does.
Okay.
I think what we can do is maybe if you and I want to meet later, we can come up with language and suggest it to the chief.
Okay, that's
I mean,
fine.
or
I mean,
anyone else
it's-
wants to be, but we can, so we have it, so it's clear. Okay. All right.
That's all I had.
Okay. So, if we go back to page 7. And I'm focusing on the fee structure. So generally, if I'm understanding the bigger picture here, the fees that we have to pay are determined by the number of vehicles that they find are speeding, and that's,
No, it's not the case.
okay. Then if you could,
Sure. So they charge per month per camera, whether there's 0 violations or 10,000 violations.
that's the rental fee, the $9.95 or whatever it is.
It's
in there.
It's a service
$9.95.
fee, yep.
Yeah, and that's on page 15 for anybody that's.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so that's the fee, specific, and then there is a $15 transaction fee for each one in addition to that, is that right?
That the violator pays.
Yes.
The violator pays.
So if they pay a $50 fine, then they would pay $65, and $15 of that would go to the vendor.
Correct, and that was
for
outlined
processing.
in the state
Yeah,
statute.
Yeah, that I remember.
So the question I have is, so someone gets a ticket and they get a fine for $65, and then they don't pay it. They take off. We never get to collect it. My understanding, if I'm reading it correctly, is that we still are liable for that $15 fee to Ultimate, even if we never collect on that particular.
That's not correct.
That's not okay.
So Ultimate collects the $65, for example, say there's one fine, they'll collect the $65 and they send the $50 to the town of East Lyme. We don't deal with the actual transaction itself.
Okay, so, but if they encounter a vehicle, do they get the credit for that $15, even though they never get paid, but they've done their work. They've captured a car that was speeding, and they're entitled to their fee for catching a speeding car, but we're never able to collect it. So my concern is that we accrue a charge for each plate that is speeding that they capture, even though they don't collect. Could we end up in a situation where we owe them money that we never were able to collect from the person that was speeding?
No, nowhere in the contract says that we're liable for that. It's the violator that's liable for that. The way the company works is if somebody doesn't pay, it's up to the town to pursue that. And we discussed this in meetings past. If the town decides not to pursue somebody for not paying the violation, then the town is out the $50 and Ultimate is out the $15.
So we don't incur a $15 fee to Ultimate in that situation?
Correct, we don't.
The capture a plate, we never collect. They don't charge us the $15. It's only if they collect it.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. I wasn't clear on that, and I appreciate you clearing that up. All right. What was it? And it sounds like this is a little more technical stuff, but we set up a lockbox bank account with Ultimate, and then as people pay, either by MasterCard or check or whatever Venmo, however they pay that fee, that goes into the lockbox, and then Ultimate has they send us what our proceeds are monthly, and they retain their fee out of that account. So we end up getting a check from that account on a monthly basis. That's the process. Okay. The term is for 5 years, but towards the end of the contract, there's it is very typical in these types of contracts, there's a 90-day notice requirement that we would give them notice if we want to get out of the contract. There's also a provision that we can give them written notice even during the term of the contract that we want to get out of the contract. But there are certain provisions in the contract that survive our repudiating the contract, or terminating it. And that really has to do mostly with tickets that are in the mail or still being processed. So for 12 months, that bank account would still be alive as those checks are coming in for people that were speeding. So even though we've suspended any further activity reading plates, there will be a residual part of the contract that survives until all the money is sorted out. Is that your
That's correct.
understanding? Yeah, okay. There is an attractive, what I thought, indemnification clause where they do on page 11, section 12, the indemnification provision is, I think it's robust in the way that it protects the client, the town, or the client with respect to them. So I was happy to see that. And that's all I have. Any? Yeah. Okay.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah, please. Just give the page number if you.
This may be outside the scope of this contract, but if someone were interested in submitting a Freedom of Information Act request, just to see how this works and make sure that it's working appropriately or properly, would that fall onto the town, or would that be Ultimate or some other body?
I clarified that yesterday also. I anticipated that question. So it would not be the vendor, if you read the contract, will not release any information on their own without written consent from the town. It's our data, it's our information, so it would be released, if it's going to be released, by us.
So it would go from them to the town, and then the town to whomever?
Correct.
Okay, so just walking through that, obviously there would be sensitive personal information that would need to be redacted. That would fall to town employees to take care of, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. In terms of the destruction of this data, it's my general understanding that digital information is not destroyed. I mean, it just exists in some backed up server somewhere in perpetuity. I mean, how do we know this information is indeed truly destroyed, or if it's just not held against the violator? Is there some kind of certification of destruction? Is there even such a thing possible in the digital landscape?
It's a good question. I'm not a computer science major. I can tell you with other applications that we use in-house that has automatic purging of data, we can't access the data after that purge date. So I can confirm that we don't have access to it. We couldn't access it ourselves. This is in multiple different applications.
This is like
across
other
different platforms.
systems you have that are similar.
Correct. So this would be the same, but I can certainly ask the tech folks from the vendor for a better explanation.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know where it would go. And I think that folks in town would like to know, like, what is ultimately to become of their data.
Where does it reside? Those kinds of questions.
Yeah. Also, I had a question about the payment increases. That would be the fee, is the $15 fee, correct?
There's a $15 administrative fee that goes from the violator to that vendor.
Okay, and then it says, at the end of this contract, it could go up 3%. That's just Ultimate trying to make sure that they have a return on investment, that inflation doesn't get out ahead of them or something like that? Or was that something to do with perhaps the fees or the ticket that the violator would pay towards town? Not ticket. It's not a ticket. What is it?
It's a citation.
Citation.
What page are you referring to?
Give me a second.
Page 15 describes the fee structure, if that helps.
That would be it. I'm sorry, here it is. This is at the top of page 8. It says fee increase. Fees may be increased at the end of each contract term, with the first term being the initial term as described by section 10, blah, blah, blah. 3% or an increase in the consumer price index over the preceding 18 months. I think that feels like someone at Altiman's finance department kind of put that in so that they would, their fees couldn't grow with inflation.
And it's a five-year term, don't forget. It's a long term.
That's
5 years.
not, I'm sorry about that.
No, go ahead.
That's not the section that's referencing the citations or the administrative fee. I believe that section is Ultimate's fees, so the
Right.
fees associated with what they charge the town. That is it $8.95 per camera per month, or $9.95?
$9.95.
Thank you.
$9.95.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's service charged to the town for each camera. And it's not just the camera itself, it's the back end, the customer service, the billing, the credit card applications, the calibrations that occur routinely, the signage, they pay for everything. So I think it's a catch-all just in case they have to increase their fees.
Okay. So instead of being $9.95 per month, it could go up to whatever 3% per term, per contract.
And if you look at page 15, it's interesting how they word it. The monthly rental fee is $9.95 per month, but then there's a caveat. It says the client will receive the first $1,000 in fine revenue per month per camera. So you're sort of protected. You'll get that $1,000, it looks like to me, before the first dollar that goes towards the $9.95 per month. So I think that offsets your potential cash flow liability. Does that make sense? We get $1,000 before they begin to get their $9.95 per month. I think that's how it works.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, those are all my
We
questions.
good?
Yeah.
Ann or Candace, any questions on the contract?
No, I'm good.
We good? All right. Roseanne?
I'm set.
Okay.
We've reviewed it at least 3 times. I think it's in my brain now.
Okay, so what we'll do is, I think we'll come up with some language, and maybe Ann and I can meet just to clean up some of the language we talked about, and then I'll meet with you and we can propose that to Ultimate, and hopefully they got that in the word processor somewhere, and they can, and I'll run it by our council too before.
Sounds good, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Chief.
you.
Appreciate it very much.
Before we move off of this.
Oh, yeah.
The agenda item says authorize first selectman to sign a photo enforcement services agreement with Ultimate. Are we just going to table that until this gets resolved?
I think what we should do is get the final language, and then we can, so let's just continue that.
Yep, okay.
Till, I don't know if we'll have that done by the next meeting, if, potentially we could.
It's quick.
Yeah.
It's just a few.
I gotta get, I want the town council to look at our changes. Yeah, all right. Okay. So now, we will go to new business 3B, presentation by Parks and Recreation regarding a trust path project. Jerry, thanks for hanging in there with us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jerry Locken, the Parks and Rec Director. I'm here actually with good news here tonight. I'm joined by Carol. We got 3 members of our East Lyme Public Trust here. These are good folks in the town who have for many, many years raised money and contributed to fabulous things in town, from the boardwalk to the light pole or the flagpole on Liberty Green, to concert sponsors, the band shell, lots of things. And these fine folks are willing to sponsor or help fundraise to install safety lighting on the path from Hole in the Wall to McCook Point Park. As many residents know, that we have concerts up at McCook Point band shell. During the summer, we have the Celebrate East Lyme and the fireworks. From time to time, there are things that happen as it gets dark, and with parking limited at McCook Point Park, people are walking to downtown from the park and things like that. So that path is heavily used. What we're talking about installing are some solar powered light bollards. So they're about 3 feet tall, and they just light the the path. It's not a big light pole that's, lighting the whole area. It just lights enough for the path to make it safe for people to go down from the, essentially the band shell down to hole-in-the-wall beach. So these fine folks have been working on this for some time, and it's been considered. The proposal has gone to the Parks and Rec Commission. The Park and Rec Commission is fully enthused about the fact that these folks will go out and raise the money without any cost to taxpayers to install this. Just another benefit to the town that these, like I mentioned, these fine folks do from time to time. Every year or every couple of years, they have a larger project, and we're fortunate enough to be the ones that are the recipient of that effort. We've also gone to the zoning official who has provided his administrative approval for these lights, that they're going to be low impact. They're not going to be light polluting or anything like that. They're safety lighting. They're able to be controlled by the day, the sunset times, or even manually controlled by Parks and Rec staff members. So, these are not lights that are going to be on all the time. These are not lights that are going to be obtrusive or anything else. They are safety lighting for a particular purpose, and the town doesn't have to pay for them, but we get to enjoy the benefits of having them. So I'd like to recognize the folks from the Public Trust here in the room with me tonight, and if you have any questions about this, we're not here seeking approval, but we're here to make sure that the public is aware and that the Board of Selectmen is aware of kind of what's going on in the town. And yes, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, so just wonder, how many are you going to have?
Okay, boy, I should know that. 18 units.
And like, just so I can try to understand.
It's
how
800 feet.
So every 800
Every, yeah, 800 divided by 18.
Oh, okay. And
yeah.
that's where they'll be placed then.
So, yeah,
Okay,
maybe
that
every
was the
40
next
feet,
question.
it's not, if my math is right, something like that, every 45 feet.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's
Thank you,
excellent.
Joe. That's a
Thank
nice
you very
project.
much. Yeah, thank
I have
you.
no question, just
Yeah,
applaud,
I
and
know.
that's just
Thank you.
fantastic. I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy that.
Yeah.
It's going to
Yeah.
be much safer for people walking. So,
Agreed.
thank you.
All right, easiest item on your agenda tonight.
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
So
Spoke
these,
too soon.
These lights are solar powered, so they don't need to be connected to any kind of power source.
This
right?
is correct.
Okay.
Right.
And they are screwed into the firmament so that they don't need any formal kind of installation. It could be kind of a layperson's job.
Yeah, it's probably something that a professional is going to do. We'll have either our park staff or public works staff or somebody are going to be out there with a big machine, and you are correct. It drives a really big screw into the ground. That's the anchor for the bollard. And, the company kind of states that the advantage of doing that is it doesn't disrupt the surrounding area. You essentially drill a hole in the ground and it's there. You don't dig and put a foundation in or anything like that. It's just this screw that's very minimal impact. So, I mean, these are, I guess I would call it kind of a green company that's designing and providing these, that they're looking to minimize the impact to the environment and minimize, the energy used or things like that. So that's the whole intent of these fixtures.
Okay. My question about that particular area where they're going is not so much on the McCook's Park side, which is, grassy, but down towards Hole in the Wall, it gets a little soggy. And the material is a lot more diffuse, and when it rains heavily, there's rills form, and there's some shifting in there. So I guess my question is, has someone come out to look at the site and say this will function in this particular setting?
Yeah, we've provided all of that information not only to our to the company, to our Parks and Rec staff members, Public Works, zoning officials. All those people have kind of reviewed it. So the path itself is pretty stable. I mean, it's not that we can't have a hurricane or something like that and have a storm surge that would disrupt things, but when you're talking about something kind of changing or moving, that's more down on the beach. It's not so much on the upper level where there's the path. So it may get soggy from time to time in grassy areas where a little depression is, but it's not going to affect the performance of the fixtures.
And crazy question, but I gotta ask, the trains that go by, you know, I assume there's some kind of vibration, some kind of energy associated with that. Has anyone considered over the long term how that might shift the material?
That is a question I have not considered, but, you know, we can certainly ask the question of the, you know, from the vendor. They do have, you know, detailed plans of the path, and they do see that, you know, I'm sure that they've seen that there's railroad tracks within, you know, 50 or 100 feet of that path, so,
Okay.
yep,
All right, thank you.
yeah, good question.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry.
very much.
All right,
Thank
and
you
it's-
very much.
That's a great project. LED, you know, it's LED, solar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your effort.
Yeah, and thank you for coming.
Yeah, that's really great.
It is.
All right, we're on to ex officio reports. I'll start, let's see. Candace, will start at your end.
Okay, well, a couple of my meetings were canceled just because they didn't have quorums, and they also were on the same night that the school board was having their community conversation on security or additional security. It was very well attended. I did go, and so did Jason and Anne, and I think Roseanne was there too. So it was very well attended, good conversation. I think that it prompted some good dialogue. I think that it also showed the board where they may need some tweaking and some more information to go out to our community. I thought that was good. I also went to the Salem Co-op meeting out in Salem. So being on the Board of Ed for so long, I had helped develop the latest Salem agreement. And of course, as an ex officio, I wanted to go and listen. You know, there's been some rumors come and go, but a little bit of Salem looking at other towns and other options for kids, which is great, to be honest with you. I think that it's all unfair that, you know, they can look at those things. But I think that the conversation really wrapped around looking at more solidified, consistent communication between East Lyme and Salem. What a good partner and or a not so good partner looks like, and just the need for a consistent communication for both towns. There was a survey that had gone out. Not too sure what the outcome is, you know, will be, but I think when you're looking cost effectively, you know, I think that that's probably on their minds. It's very difficult for Salem. The partnership was started for a reason, and it's equally beneficial. We do a lot of partnering, not just kids coming to East Lyme High School. So there's
collaborative efforts.
Tremendous amount of collaborative partnerships between the school district and Salem. So just lots of different conversation on where that could expand in upcoming years. There was one more thing that I wanted to say. Oh, okay. So being able to solidify numbers could not happen because our audits have not been completed. So it affected their numbers, and I wrote down the.
You mean for their budget?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know their audit. It's still in play, right? Their audit.
It is, yeah, but there was something. I wrote it down. Oh gosh.
So not the number of students you're talking about?
No. It affected the numbers at the end. The money, she couldn't allocate it, or there was something that she couldn't do with Mariana because of our audits.
Your Board of Ed audit? Or the
No,
town?
it had something to do with the town audits, because the town audits were off. So that put a very large strain and challenge on the numbers that she could not get because of from our side, the town side. So I'm not too sure exactly what that was, but it would have helped her, I think. But other than that, they went through tuition and that kind of stuff, and it was a good collective meeting held in Salem.
Great.
And that's it.
That's it.
Oh, the Oneianic was awesome.
You were at
We
the
had a lot of-
5K, right? You were
Yeah,
at
the Oneianic brought a lot
saw
of
some
people
pictures
down.
on Facebook.
Yeah, you know, it wasn't, it was very windy. It was very windy, but it wasn't snowing,
telling
so
me.
I was thankful. And the sun was out, and people were just so happy to be downtown, so it was great.
I missed out on that one, so it
Yeah,
looks like it was
fun.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Ann, any?
So, I also went to the that school meeting regarding armed security officers, and I thought it was good. I also went March 17th to the Planning Commission had a meeting, and it was a special meeting, and it was regarding proposed changes to the subdivision regulations, and Attorney Tim Blaisdell came and spoke. And so I went because I wanted to, hear what he had to say. Basically, Gary Gaishel, who is the manager, is going to go back and make some other, I guess, tweaks to the regulations.
Or zoning regs and planning.
No, this is planning.
Planning.
This is
Planning,
planning.
yeah. We have to-
So, kind of defining significant impact, because I guess there's some conflict the way they're defined differently, and just to try to make everything parallel.
Right.
And Tim Blaisdell was very informative, and I was glad I went. So, even though it's really not my ex officio, I figured that
Yeah, I watched part of it on the
Yeah.
YouTube.
no one else was there. So, that's all I have
Okay,
for now.
thank you.
Yeah.
Jason, anything?
The only thing that I think I would like to bring up is kind of an informal conversation I had with some town leaders of neighboring towns. While we were doing the budget, everybody seemed to have an interest and an appetite for some sort of pooling of resources, if not outright regionalization. So, I mean, this is very preliminary. I was exploiting, personal connections and nothing fully on the town level yet. But the conversation has begun. Everybody seemed to agree to have more conversations. I brought, ideas to town hall just to say this is happening. So I'm not sure what the proper way is to go forward, but we're starting to go forward in terms of cost sharing.
Have a conversation.
Having
Oh,
conversations.
it was Old Lyme, right?
Old Lyme and Waterford, yes.
And Waterford.
Great.
That's great. That's what it takes. Roseanne?
I was at the state meeting with Ann, hearing from the perspectives of armed security within the schools, and think that there's a lot more to be said and explored, but it's certainly a very serious issue, and one that, in my opinion, we need to begin getting a good grip on as to what direction we can take to make sure that we're doing the best we can with having our school environment as safe as possible. And it's a very complex issue. So, glad to see our police chief is here tonight.
Yeah.
So a lot
So-
more discussion to be had.
No, that is true. But it's good that we're having that discussion, because it's a big question. Okay.
I have questions. I don't know where to fit them in here. I don't want to lose the opportunity
Okay.
to speak.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so my questions are about going forward with our next meeting, getting advice from council. If the event, if someone's not available, now we are a 5-person board, effectively. Is our quorum still 4?
We need 4.
We need 4, even though we're a 5-person. Okay,
Yeah,
so.
it's in the
I believe-
bylaw.
What's
believe-
that?
I believe it's in the bylaws, right?
Because we're still a 6-person board, just
We
one
are.
seat isn't
Just,
full, right?
yeah,
I mean,
it's just up there.
But that's a good question, and I'll double check that with Tracy, but I think that's right.
If something happens and people are not available for a meeting, we need 24 hours to pull off a special meeting, right, to notice it?
24, right?
Okay.
Cindy?
So, just going forward,
Wait a minute, do you mean to
Notice.
notice to have the same meeting but delayed?
No, I mean,
moved
like,
ahead?
let's say we meet on the 1st, but there's some
don't have
outbreak of
people.
swine flu and 2 of us are not available.
And we can't act.
Then we, as a board, can't act. I'm a little worried after kind of taking a look at this that the next step is loosely defined and could precipitate, not a crisis, but a real headache to solve. So I'm just worried that if something happens and 2 members are not available,
We could Zoom them in, though.
what happens?
We could Zoom.
Okay.
We could Zoom them in.
What if we were to schedule a special meeting for it proactively so that, you know, we would have it no matter what? So if the date is,
So,
like March has 31 days, so is it actually April 6th or is it April 5th? It's 30 days.
Oh, yeah.
So,
It's April, yeah, so-
and I think you have to know too, is it 30 calendar days? That's,
I was told it was April 6th. That's what was computed by Tracy.
yeah, I'm just,
Well, let's double
I
check.
just, to double check because March has 31 days.
That's
and I
always-
just want to make sure that.
It's always
we-
an issue in federal court where you have
Yeah,
to
no,
count
I
days.
know.
They
Well,
go
that's exactly
crazy.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure. So maybe, you know, we do a special meeting on, say, the 4th, so that in case we can't meet on the 1st, we have a special meeting on the 4th. And we schedule that so that it's not something that at the last second we're trying to schedule and we're pressed for time.
I had a case that it was leap year, and the question was, it was in federal court, and did they count leap year as part of one of the days for the notice? And,
I think they would have to,
well,
for that year, right?
it was, yeah, it was complex, but it was,
Yeah.
they decided not to argue it and gave me the benefit of the doubt. They didn't want to make law on it, so.
I like the idea of having that little insurance there, just
Yeah.
because I'm worried, not of this getting away from us necessary, but
Yeah.
a known quantity is what we have before us. I think after a certain expiration date, it becomes kind of unknown to the point where it's like, well, what do we do?
So I think a good idea would be, and we're going to try to get the information we need over the next 2 weeks, understand really where we are, right, on various aspects of this. And then if another problem arises, I think it would be wise to that night schedule a special meeting for, you know, the 3rd or the 4th, like we were doing for the budget deliberations.
If we don't have a quorum, can we schedule a meeting? We can. That's administrative, right? That's not us.
We can schedule we can schedule, I mean, I can schedule a special meeting.
Yeah.
And
You don't
then.
need Board of Selectmen approval for that.
No,
Okay.
I can schedule a special meeting, but then we have to meet all the notice requirements
Yeah.
of that special meeting.
Okay.
So, let's see what happens with the next week and a half. Let's
Okay.
see what information we have, what's real and what isn't, and let's go from there.
All right, thank you.
Okay?
I'm all done.
No, that was good. Now it's an important consideration. That's it for ex officio. I was at budget deliberation, so I couldn't be at the police commission meeting. But I do have a selectmen's report. What was the night that was really windy? Was that the night before last? Right? Was that Monday night? Yeah, it was Monday night.
Monday night, yeah.
So, we had a 2:30 a.m. 2-alarm structure fire at 2:30 in the morning, and it was, the wind was blowing, I mean, it was 60-mile-an-hour gusts, and it was blowing the right way, and our fire service did a great job of putting out the fire. I want to thank Old Saybrook the RIT Rapid Intervention Team for coming out, and their only job is if a firefighter gets in trouble inside of a structure, they're ready to go in and rescue that firefighter. So they came out from Old Saybrook to be there for our guys, and I want to thank Old Saybrook for being there for us. Route 161, oh, and at the same time, a couple trees fell down next to your house, didn't they, Roseanne?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So they had
Bad news.
couple of trees landed on the house next door, and they had that call coming in at the same time as a structure
Yes,
fire.
took out the neighbor's roof, and in the meantime, the neighbor came over to complain that my cats climbed up a tree and got into her attic.
I think that was the root cause of the tree toppling over, Roseanne, was that bobcat you got out in your backyard. So there was that. So that wind was really pretty significant. The Route 161 I-95 project, they're swinging steel this week, and probably in another couple of weeks, they'll be putting more steel up. But as part of the planning, they worked with the with the fire department and making sure the last time that they put steel up, it was such that it blocked the road, permanently all night. So we had to have 2 complete fire services on either side. We had to have like 8 people ready to go. So this time they were able to work it. They're far enough along in the project that there will only be 2 or 3 minutes when they're putting the steel down where we wouldn't have access from Flanders down to Niantic. So they're working very closely with the police, thank you, Chief, and the fire service to make sure we can avoid that extra overtime and safety concerns. What else was I going to mention? Oh, yeah, and so I did go to the groundbreaking of the Anchor Building, which is on Main Street. That's the new building that's going up next to the hole-in-the-wall park. And hopefully that they think that'll be up in 12 to 14 months, which will be good for our tax rolls. Get that back on the tax base. It'll increase our tax base. So that's moving along. I hope the project goes quickly for them, and I hope we end up with a nice project for Main Street. I'm not aware of any communication. Any public comment? All right, being none, there's no response. I think that's it. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Okay, move to adjourn the March 18th, 2026 regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen at 9:06 p.m.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're adjourned.